Hello and welcome. My name is Rob Malk. I'm the Potty Mouth Preacher with the Saltwater Ministry. And this is Series 3 of My Game in the World. And I just wanted to cover that I'm going through the nitrogen cycle now with my system, which you have originally, you've got ammonia, and then you convert the ammonia to nitrites, and then from nitrites, you convert it to nitrates. And we always want to keep the numbers within their parameters, but that nitrogen cycle is indication that everything is biologically online in this saltwater pond. Like I said, I've done it 10 years ago up in Minnesota, and I've had over 140 species in my systems of different kinds of fish, crabs, had a couple of coral even, and shrimp. And yeah, the system turned out to be real healthy. The fish thrived, and in 5 different species it was very reproductive. I didn't have adequate water movement, and this time I will achieve that with this system. So I think I project those numbers will go up. Anyway, this is a small portion. It's more of like a filter size portion. It's truly of the original size that was intended to be a much larger system. And the thing is with smaller bodies of water, it's a lot harder to keep those smaller bodies of water in harmony with nature and to keep them also in harmony with the animals that you have existing in it. It makes it a lot more difficult. But I had great success up in Minnesota. I was limited by the weather. The weather was so cold for the majority of the year round, and I could only uncover the system for 2 months out of the year. Down here in Florida, I'm going to have a much broader range of having truly an open air system, which is what I'd always sought out to have and be ever since I was 6 years old. It was great up in Minnesota coming out, I mean, and seeing the first baby fish, the fry in the system, and just it's like having a child of your own. You've done something, you've taken it out of one environment, you put it in totally a foreign environment, and then the fish has gone reproductive, and that was just huge for me. That was like a high of all highs and a lift of all lifts. And what's really good about the saltwater system is it so dominates my thought processes, because it truly is my passion in my life. And I think every human being should have the opportunity to work their passion. What is it? Do we give up on our dreams? Do we go away? I mean, I almost did. I had great funding up in Minnesota, and I had major funding on the back end of it. And that was a little bit of a mystery. That funding came along shortly after entering my patents, provisional patents, and into the United States patent system. Well, then I started getting contacted about a month later, 2 months later, by organizations. And organizations had made a lot of promises to me and told me that they would, finance my systems and that money wouldn't be a problem. And they promised a lot to me. And the first interview, it went great. We talked about it, we worked through some things. I was producing fresh water every day. I was like, this is going to allow the greatest opportunity in order for people to be able to raise food in places nobody ever thought possible before. Because you got the Nile, and they irrigate the Nile, and they grow crops, but the land is so poor, it really doesn't produce what you actually put into it. With marine organisms, you don't need good land, and you just need water, and then you change that water chemistry. And with marine organisms, they grow so fast. And one of the major tricks is just to make sure you reproduce the zooplankton like I did. That's how I was able to raise the marine oceanic-based fish fry, because at a much smaller level and a much smaller size mouths that they have than to their freshwater fry cousins that can, consume basically particulate matter. A lot of people don't know that you can actually reproduce these things in captivity, because keeping the zooplankton alive is key. And you have a lot of water quality parameters that you're trying to keep up with, and I know a few tricks and a few filtration tricks that allow me to do that, among so much more. Anyway, that's what I have to share with you today. Please stay tuned for Series 4, and God bless. And remember, I'm the Potty Mouth Preacher, the chiefest among sinners, the least of all believers. Anyway, have a wonderful day. God bless.